Hey, what's up everyone, Dragon back again with another edition of the Kaiju Commentary. Today we are watching Monsters. Now when you see the protagonist logo start appearing on your screen, that is your cue to start listening to us. We're going to kick things off in 3, 2, 1. Hello! Welcome to another edition of the Kaiju Commentary. Today we are watching Monsters. Monsters. This is, if I'm not mistaken, Gareth Edwards' first film, which is the film that essentially got him the gig to direct the 2014 Godzilla. So let that be a lesson to all you kids out there.
Make this film.
Make this film. And they'll give you like $150 million after. It's the damnedest thing. This is a hard movie to find because it got like a really limited release in theaters, and they weren't even releasing it all at the same time. Like it was coming out 1 month in certain states, and then a few months later in other states. And then of course, when it was announced that he was directing Godzilla, like suddenly this became like the most rented movie. But I know he did pretty much all the special effects he did himself. Like he pretty much did it all on his computer.
The creatures. Guess you can tell it's not a Japanese movie because they'd already have a name for them.
I know, right? They would be called.
They don't have their priorities in order.
They really don't. It's upsetting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but this isn't a found footage movie, but it's a very kind of like raw and shaky cam on the ground kind of movie. And if you're familiar with Godzilla, it's not going to be a lot of big epic destruction sequences. It's going to be a lot more character-based with the monsters, dare I say, more in the background, which some people liked and did not like about Godzilla. Although this film does it to a greater degree. Oh. Night Vision, the movie.
Oh boy.
Scoot McNairy?
I was like, what's your name? Scoot!
I thought
That's
I
pretty
said
sweet
McNairy
name.
at first. McNairy's pretty cool.
Scoot McNairy.
Scoot McNairy is probably either like an action star's name or like a porn star name.
Whitney Abel.
I'm sure he's a fine gentleman, I'm just saying.
So they're squid beasts.
Kind of, yeah, big, like...
So they need to just have a big old calamari off. Like, have some...
Calamari off. Okay.
Yeah, like a cook-off, calamari cook-off.
Like a big fresh fish fry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of the reason why he shot this movie this way, too, is because of very limited budget.
Yeah.
But it's kind of become his style. I know he's more comfortable doing smaller scale films, which is why after Rogue One, he said he kind of wanted to go back and do smaller films. So even when Godzilla, that he had this huge budget, he kind of shot it still a lot more like restrictive. He actually came under budget of that movie. San Jose.
San Jose, man. It's a wacky town.
Yes, we know it's pronounced San Jose. I can see somebody right now already like, actually.
No, this is actually the fictional city of San Jose.
San Jose. San Jose, depending on what kind of region accent you have.
Mm-hmm.
That's me whenever I'm trying to find my way around a hospital, by the way.
Yeah.
Going, wait, what? Where?
I don't understand.
I'm pretty sure these two are a husband and wife in real life. And that was one of the reasons why I guess he cast them, because, again, they just had really good chemistry because, you
Well, I
know.
would hope so.
Well, yeah. just wear it for fun.
No.
She's not really selling me on the whole I'm okay thing.
Alright, see you later.
Never see you again.
Roll credits. Like, oh, okay, well.
Well, that's cool. I want a divorce.
Jesus.
A real one.
It just happens like that in the movie. The rest of the movie is just a couple arguing.
And the,
for real.
and the director keeps it because of just the emotion.
The emotion. It feels so real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, because again, I didn't see this movie. Actually, no, did I see it before I heard he was directing Godzilla? I think I saw it shortly before it was announced he was directing Godzilla, but one of the things we were even asking about that movie was, okay, what the tone was going to be like, what the approach was. So when I found out it was him doing it, right away I got a sense, okay, it's going to be a much more kind of dramatic film as opposed to kind of just a big popcorn thriller, because again, just basing off like how he did this movie.
Yeah. I have not seen this movie.
I remember we were both trying to see it, and then I think I just...
I think it was on Netflix or something, and you watched it.
No, the second one was there is a sequel to this movie which he did not direct, but which yes we will watch. But yeah, no, I remember. I don't remember where I saw it. I finally just came across. I might have rented it or something, like Redbox or whatever, and just wanted to check it out. Because this was still this is pre-Pacific Rim. This is kind of still before the kind of new Kaiju resurgence. So it was kind of, to me, kind of just interesting that, wow, some guy with essentially no money just made a Kaiju movie. This was still kind of a novelty thing.
Oh, damn.
And it's funny, too, because this film is a little bit of political in the sense that it deals with, like, our borders, people wanting to leave the border. In this film, it's, they're escaping an environment where there are giant monsters as opposed to just, impoverished regions, crime. But it's dealing with this whole idea of, like, why people would illegally try to get across a border, to escape a bad situation. So, I know, it's kind of interesting that, and it's something about this movie that people ignore or just don't notice, that it's kind of a politically heavy movie, and now I think it's kind of more relevant than ever given our current political climate. But
I do like the premise.
So how old are they supposed to be?
these characters, I don't know, I'd imagine...
Is he supposed to be a lot older than her?
No, I think they're around the same age, like late 20s.
Early 30s?
Yeah.
I'd be like, dude.
Essentially, he's sent down there to kind of get her back across the border. But because of what's going on, it's difficult to get to the border because the region between the United States and, where they're at now is quarantined off because that's where these monsters are. So getting over the border now is extremely difficult. I don't know if that would be better. Pretty sure that was on there for a reason.
I'm just kind of like this, just like a wrist brace. I have one of those.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is kind of a
like
third
split?
world country, so something tells
guess
you you're
so.
not getting top-notch medical care.
Just go to a CVS and for $10.
Well, I don't think they even have that.
I know. I'm
Listen to
joking.
you with your first world. Why don't you just go down to a
Jesus.
CVS and do that?
I fucking rain. Maybe that's why she's got it on. She's like, I'm gonna hide my giant bling ring.
Which, in a place like that, you absolutely should.
Yeah.
I remember when we went down to Mexico, one of the things they even said, too, is, like, if you have any jewelry, don't bring any jewelry, don't wear anything flashy, don't even wear, like, really expensive clothing. Just kind of be as kind of bland or plain as you can, because...
Oh, look at that. Just some radioactive shit.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No biggie. Boom.
I also like how this movie kind of takes place in a world where these things are already kind of there. Like, this is our reality. It's kind of like Pacific Rim in that, where it's not dealing with, like, the arrival of these things. These things are already here. We're just, this is basically just a story that, they need to get back to...
Takes place in that world.
Yeah, they need to get back to the United States, and it's only a problem because they have to pass through where they are at. Otherwise, the kaiju themselves are kind of besides the point.
Are you sure it's safe? Yeah, sure.
I wouldn't even want to get off the train in that area, even without the giant monsters. I'm just like, I don't know, guys.
Like, the fact that it's dark as fuck, I'm like, where are you?
Yeah, even she's like, I don't know about this. Maybe this is a horrible idea. Maybe this is literally the worst idea you ever had. You ever think about that? And it's funny, like, the way you kind of see them for most of the movie is always, like, on a screen somewhere in the background. So they're always kind of there. But again, they're more or less just, like, an environmental obstacle as opposed to just, we're dealing with them directly.
Yes.
I love, like, the subtext too. Like, essentially, they're just kind of quartering off all these people here. Like, it makes you wonder if this was happening on the other side of the border, on the United States, would they be taking a very different approach? Essentially, they're just sealing them all off with the monsters, just saying, well, as long as they don't get over the border, that's all that matters.
Oh my gosh, they got cartoons about them?
You see, like, those Fallout,
I know.
like, commercials they do.
No, Mary.
I would want to be married to that.
Please no.
They just keep ad-libbing. It gets worse and worse and meaner and meaner. Gareth Edwards behind the camera. Keep going, yeah.
She is, how do you say, slut?
Whoa! Yikes.
No, Mary whore.
He's got an order in his head. Would I?
This movie just destroyed their marriage. Just watch it slowly come undone through the entire course of it. Like, holy shit. Oh, that's depressing.
Aww.
The ghost probably like, yeah, I'll just walk across, thank you.
Jeez.
Clothes hanger is barbed wire.
Slipknot,
Why
the
is
Wonder
this
Years.
weirdo taking pictures of us?
Yeah, let's take it from people who probably need it more than us.
I know.
We'll never see each other again.
He's just over this.
I know. I'm like,
Let's go.
I mean, then again, I guess if you got
Oh,
2 days to get there.
now he wants to know.
Well, yeah, he's trying to play it off all cool,
Look at this
in
guy.
front of other people.
Doesn't even have his fucking lens cover on his camera.
What an amateur. Well, he probably wants to be,
Unless
Be
he
ready
gets
to
a
take the
big
shot.
old scratch on it, where it gets smashed.
Does it?
Yeah. Sure it does. Ooh, come up on Infected Zone.
Yeah, it's funny. I read a thing with Aaron saying that he edited most of this movie. I think he's like on his MacBook. That a lot of the effects he would shoot like in his bathroom, and then basically copy paste them into the actual like.
What do you mean shoot him in his bathroom?
Well, there were certain things that he had to shoot like an effect, and he would do it in his bathroom because he'd even have like a green screen, and then he would just use like the white wall and like cut the shot out and just paste it into the actual frame.
Like that toy tank.
Yeah.
Well, it probably is like a little toy tank, but it looks amazing.
That's what I'm saying. No, you could tell one that was driving by had to have been.
Yeah.
It was way too,
I think that's too why like a lot of big studios now are hiring like these directors who are doing these small films, because I think they're just getting tired of all these other directors who are just blowing out these budgets. They're like, all right, we'll give you X amount of dollars, but we're pretty sure you'll probably figure out a way to come under that budget because you're just so used to not having money. And sure enough, he did come under budget. Like I think he saved, or for Godzilla, he did. I think they gave him like 190 million, and he came around like I think 170 or something like that. I mean, I'm not sure those numbers, but I know he was under enough where they took notice of it. Which studios love it when you save them money and then turn around and make them money. They're big on that.
I'm a fan.
So she's the daughter of the head of this journal?
Yeah.
Or like newspaper?
So basically, he kind of, I think, more or less, he kind of volunteered to go down there to get her, so he can also kind of get these shots. Basically, trying to impress the boss.
Did she run away, or are they gonna explain?
I think she was just down there on like vacation, and then
her honeymoon.
Jesus.
Trophy.
We're here.
God, everything about her screams tourist.
I know.
The blonde hair, the red tie, it's like, Jesus Christ.
I'm just trying to get fucked up.
Hey, we're in Jurassic Park.
I know, right?
That's like, what, a foot and a half of water here just goes splat. Oh!
Oh.
No tickets for you. Pretty sure.
And I'm pretty sure a lot of these extras here are just people from the area.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Free gas mask. Oh boy. Oh
Awesome.
Jesus.
Yeah, so basically all of Mexico is the infected zone.
Jeez.
I bet they go through the infected zone.
No, I mean, that would be crazy, right?
$5,000.
Yeah, no.
$5,000.
That's the thing. Even down there, especially like $5,000 is worth so much more.
Oh, I know.
Like for that guy right there, getting to that's like a small fortune. Yeah, so that whole fence is digital.
I could shower with you.
To save water, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Go green.
5.
Yeah, $5,000 to shower with me. I'll give you 2. $5,000. Oh no, not a glass. It's funny.
Like a spider octopus.
Yeah, no.
It's
Well,
like
they remind me a lot of like kind of how what they described like in War of the Worlds, like the big ships they have that kind of walk around. So it's kind of interesting they do that, but it's a living thing.
Huh. Oh. Shit.
So it wasn't worth trying.
But I could do that.
That would be funny if she just pretends to fall asleep right now.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. Like, oh. She's looking at like, you don't get laid often, do you? Maybe you don't talk so much. Maybe you try that.
Maybe you put the seat down after you pee.
Maybe you get the fuck out of my room now. Because I've known you for like 24 hours.
Maybe I'll fuck your brother.
Is he just like, what is he doing?
I don't. Oh God.
He's
Like-
watching.
Yeah, that's.
What a creep.
I know. It's
Ew.
like, was she on the toilet?
I don't know.
No, she's like washing her hands. Pretty sure.
Yeah, he's into watching girls wash their hands.
He's got a hand fetish. We didn't hear about those.
Rinse and repeat.
What?
Yeah.
What?
You say hand fetish?
Yeah. So you never hear about those. You hear about feet all the time.
But not hands.
No. Is that a thing?
I'm sure it is.
I'm sure it is.
I mean, clearly he's got that.
Show me your hands.
So I guess they're implying that these things were like on a space probe, probably small,
Mm-hmm.
and then grew. It's funny. I know scientists have even said too that they speculated like if extraterrestrial life looked remotely like anything on Earth, it would probably be like octopi because if you just look at the way they're built, it's kind of the most.
Look at this bitch.
Mm-hmm. She's down. No.
No, you gotta leave.
No, you gotta leave. It's a little dick move. Alright, fine. I guess we won't have sex tonight then.
Your loss.
Sucks for you. I mean, we could have been doing that.
It's gonna rock your world, but now with that attitude,
What kind of corn is that?
enjoy that corn because that's the only thing long and hard you're getting tonight, sweetheart.
Wow.
I showed her.
It's just down there, man. She made me get out of her bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a bitch.
Hate her. And you know what? You should hate yourself.
The fuck was he doing? Why is he so weird?
He's just being silly.
He's a big silly guy.
He's just being a silly guy.
He's a real silly guy. See, now she loves him.
See, she likes it. She likes the silliness.
She's totally gonna have sex with him now. Like,
Mhm.
totally.
Hey, you remember when I asked you to get out of my bed? Yeah, I'll never forget it. Well, get in my bed.
Just like that. It works, folks. It works.
Yeah.
If a girl says no, take him out for a night on the town with corn on the cob.
And just be silly.
Putty in your hand.
Just be silly.
I mean, it never worked for me, but I'm just saying. Clearly, this guy is doing it right.
It's all about who you know.
Gotta find that right
I'm gonna take
fried
your bitch,
corn on the cob vendor, apparently.
Was that what that was? Was fried corn on the cob?
It looked like fried corn on the cob. So I'm assuming this is...
Memorial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I'm not sure if this is meant to be like the initial like impact, or more or less kind of like just
No.
kind of the rising death toll as these things get bigger and bigger. Because that's the thing too. I guess they've been growing too over these 6 years.
Yeah, the militaries are struggling to keep them back.
I think that's also too why the border is kind of like spreading. But it seems like they're pushing them further south. They're doing everything they can to keep them from crossing north, but they're just kind of, instead of really neutralizing them, they're just essentially allowing their range to just grow in the opposite direction. Which, I mean, I know some people are going to say it's a kind of a heavy-handed message, and it definitely is heavy-handed. But let's be realistic. If this were to actually happen, that's what would happen. They're not going to well, we'll let them spread it to the U.S. No, we wouldn't. If we could stop them and drive them the other way, that's exactly kind of what would happen. So, it's kind of cool how they did that shot. Yeah, I really like Gareth Edwards' kind of cinematography. He's got a lot of atmosphere with his movies. Yeah, which is why I was actually kind of surprised more people didn't like Rogue One. I mean, I know it did really well. Actually, that's not true. I know a lot of people liked it, but I know there were still some people who were complaining, saying that it didn't feel like, quote-unquote, a Star Wars movie, which, in a weird way, is kind of why I liked it, because I liked it was something different from that universe.
Yeah, when you get married. Ooh.
It's kind of weird. Why was she down here? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing why she was down here.
Well,
I don't know if they...
by herself. If you're engaged, why is he not there?
I don't know if they said, or maybe implying that he was going to go down there and meet her. I didn't really catch it. I guess she could be just visiting tourists. I mean, again, it's one of those things where...
Destination wedding, maybe.
Scoping it out, yeah.
I want to get married near the infected zone.
I don't know, that'd be kind of sweet. I'd love to get married and have a wedding photo, giant alien monster in the
Gas
background.
mask wedding.
I'd like to get married near your infected zone.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
Oh.
And by married, I mean sex. My infected zone. I mean your birth canal.
Oh, God.
What's it infected with?
Life.
My penis.
Jesus Christ.
You can see...
My penis is the probe carrying the foreign life.
Oh, God. Clearly, this is why I got married. I mean, my game was just off the chart. Rolling up on the girls. What's up, shorty? Want me to infect you
God.
with some foreign life?
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't give you a massage.
I hate
Unless
you.
it was with my dick.
Here's my thing. If he's trying to impress her dad, essentially, it's you really think that's
I know.
Yeah, ruin her
she's
marriage.
engaged.
Ruin her marriage.
to probably a far more respectable individual than you, and yeah, I went brought your daughter to some creepy place, on the border of Monsterland, and then fucked her. It's can I have a job?
I'll see you in the morning. Okay, please leave.
Seriously, dude,
Yeah.
it's
creepy now.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel bad for this girl because think of where she's at, what's going on, and this is the guy that's gotta basically usher her to safety.
I would be like, man, I got my ticket. You can fuck off.
Yeah, really. I'd be like, fuck this. I'll take my chance with the monsters. I don't want to like the fucking creepy rape guy.
And he's like obviously drunk.
I know, like on the verge of just like trying to like ram down her door with his dick. It's like, good God. Like seriously, this guy is just like,
yeah,
get away from
coming
me.
on way too strong, in a creepy way.
I miss him. We're gonna find out she's been concealing a bite. She's a zombie.
Her arms like turning out like tentacles, kind of like suction cups underneath.
This is District 9 prequel.
Well, it's funny. It kind of has that feel, minus the kind of the documentary moments.
Damn, he's still drinking.
Jesus.
Like, seriously, dude. Like, look where you're at. This is not a good part in the world to get just wasted if you're a foreigner. And that was before things got really, really bad too. I know they even say that now. If you go down to Mexico and you're a foreigner, like literally just stay in the fanciest hotels, stay in the really touristy areas. Like, and I'm not saying that to be kind of like racist or anything, but obviously there's, you know, I know like tourists have been targeted a lot down there. So
I thought she was gonna get up and make bad choices. Like, well, my fiance didn't answer, so I guess I can go fuck him. But that didn't happen.
no.
It's gonna happen,
Probably.
but not yet.
Seriously, I haven't seen this movie. I've only watched this movie like once before, and it's been, I think, like not too long after it actually came out that I watched it. But looking back at it now, I'm like, my God, yeah, this guy is fucking creepy as shit. Like, I would not.
Oh,
no.
shit. How'd this happen?
We don't even get to see their face.
It was probably also her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, probably. He looks back and like, oh, how'd you get up already? Like, yeah. Bed's all made and everything.
You're engaged.
I know.
You're engaged, and he's creepy as shit. So I really don't see why this is any more awkward for you. Like, he was essentially like,
Yeah.
She ran.
I gotta chase her down. Emma. Oh, God.
yeah, what is happening
He's a
here?
fuck?
tramp stamp.
I know, he does have a tramp stamp.
The fuck?
He's gonna want it.
This guy is just a hot mess.
Yeah.
What kind of guy has a tramp stamp?
That guy.
And you know it's real. Like, that real guy has a tramp stamp.
I mean, I want to think that it's not, but
What's this guy's name? Let's look it up.
IMDb that shit. I mean, don't get me wrong. These two actors are doing a phenomenal job. They are selling it. Like, they feel like very real people.
Yeah.
And he's playing the character the way he's written. So he's creepy as shit because he was written to be creepy as shit. So he's doing a great job. I'm just saying from her perspective, I'm like, I don't know. I would not want to be anywhere around this guy.
What about her passport?
She asked her to give it to him. Like, she doesn't want to go back, so it's kind of implying that,
Is that bitch gonna have stolen it?
mm-hmm. Basically implying that she was kind of running from her marriage. Like, she didn't probably really want to be with the guy, so she kind of wanted to...
Why did he have her passport?
Well, because he had their stuff or whatever, like, holding it.
Yeah, what kind of moron would just leave their shit open? Oh my God.
Yeah, he got robbed.
Yeah. You should have known. No reason somebody would have slept with you.
Well, again, think about it. You know, a lot of people want to get over the border. Here's a white guy, American. You know, yeah. Get him drunk, passes out. You know, steal his shit. I mean,
Fine, I'll have sex with him.
see, I think those are digital. I can't tell.
Well, I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah, because I don't think they would have the budget to like
They
get
look too
real
late.
tanks and shit.
He's the one whose name is Scoot McNairy.
That's Scoot McNairy?
That's Scoot McNairy.
Scoot McNairy.
So let me look up Scoot McNairy. Tramp stamp.
Oh, God. Poor guy. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice guy. If that is a real tattoo, I mean, listen, of all the mistakes you can make in your life, that's not the worst one. If that's his one claim to shame, then okay, fine, he's got a tramp stamp tattoo. But I want to say it was just a makeup department that'd be like, hey, we can make him...
There's no way. There's no way.
Because that's not even really where guys get tattoos. So
it's 100% real.
I'm trying to look, man. I'm looking.
I don't think there's...
It's real. There's for what reason would they decide to just put that on him?
Well, because he's kind of a skeezy character, so maybe they'd be like, I don't know, how can we make him more skeezy?
I don't think he's supposed to be skeezy, because I think there are love interests in this movie.
Well, it's... yeah, kind of slightly evolves into that, even though, again, watching this movie in retrospect, I'm kind of like, for her, I would be like, listen, I get it, maybe you're not so hot on the guy you're supposed to marry, but I don't think this guy's a viable alternative.
No.
Considering everything we've seen, this isn't like Chris Pratt riding in on a dirt bike,
with raptors.
Yeah, being Chris Pratt. All right, I'd see yourself throwing at yourself at that guy. That guy wants to come in your room at night, damn it. He's like, Blue, watch the door.
You let him in.
You let him in. Because if you don't, the Raptors just going to figure out a way to open the door anyway. We've all seen the movie. Mm-hmm. Blue, pick the lock. Blue's out there with like a little lock pick. Coletta wire hanger, working the lock.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God. So you're single. Would be hilarious. He just immediately says that.
I can't find anything about the tattoos, guys.
Again.
It's real.
I'm not sure what else they've done. I don't think they've... I mean, I might have seen him in something else.
Apparently he was in Batman v Superman.
Oh, yeah. He's the guy that gets his legs off.
Yeah, we haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Okay.
Guy gets his legs off. You make it sound like it's a good thing. Hey, it's a guy got his legs off. Good for him.
No, when Superman fought Zod in Man of Steel, and, in the destruction... This piece of a building fell on his legs, and he lost his legs, and then it kind of plays into. Yeah, I know he looked familiar. That's.
I mean, he's good at, again.
He's a tramp stamp though.
Again, it's good performances from these characters, But then again, they're probably character actors, and character actors tend to be the best actors in Hollywood because they can essentially be anything really. They don't really get typecast because they're kind of just there to fill a role, whatever it is. So
yeah, he can play a guy with legs, without legs.
Range.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I don't fault the actor for playing the role this way because, like I said, this is his job. That's the way he's supposed to. I'm just, again, from the character perspective, I'm thinking this.
I would have preferred him to play it without a tramp stamp.
Maybe we just kind of hike up those boxes a little bit higher, hide that shame.
I just think it was funny.
It's kind of cool, though, they got a husband and wife duo to kind of play these roles. I'm sure it's kind of fun, especially a small little film like this where there's not a lot of big studio pressure. I'm sure because from what I understand, too, they all had a lot of fun making this movie.
It's okay, let them through. Yeah, it's fine.
I know that's one of the reasons Gareth even said, too, that, he wanted to go back to being smaller. Now that he's made his money, now that he doesn't have to do big movies anymore, he's Godzilla and Star Wars probably, pay the rent for a long time, so... I think, too, a lot of directors, sometimes they either kind of just accept it and make the jump and deal with kind of the studio system, or they're just not for me. Because essentially it's not really your movie anymore. You can make the movie as long as you make it the way they want you to make it. So as long as it's in line with your vision, it works out. But for some, I know, small directors, just I want, this is the movie I want to make, and the studio's essentially telling me how to direct my movie, and that's kind of the problem when you do these big studio pictures. It's not really your movie, it's theirs. when they're forking over like $100 million plus, it's like, yeah, it's theirs.
So, were they taking the ferry, or they're going through the zone then?
Going through the zone now.
Yep.
So, did she not give up a ring?
She did.
But it was enough. It was to get a.
Oh, you have to pay still to fucking go through the infected zone?
Yeah, it's just not as much.
I thought they were just like.
No, it's just to get the ferry. It's like a guaranteed
okay.
safe way. So it's okay, $5,000. Yeah, you can pay less, but you basically have to put yourself at risk essentially.
Yeah, I thought it was like if you don't want to pay.
Oh no!
through.
Like when you hear people who are like cross the borders and they go, they have these people who try to bring.
I know in real life.
Yeah, you got to give something. It's not for free. Like especially the people who like ferry you across.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's illegal, so they're putting themselves at risk. So they're not going to do that out of the kindness of their own heart.
Essentially, they're smugglers. So,
Well, yeah, exactly. They are. So again, they're breaking the law. So they're not going to do it for nothing.
Breaking the law.
The law.
Woo-hoo. So do those things, like, they're pretty big, so I'm kind of like, I'm assuming they would see them from pretty far away if they kind of show up, right?
Well, yeah, but the point is, you're essentially going to where they are at. To get from one side to the other, you literally have to kind of just pass through their territory. So, like, right there, okay, there's not one right there, but, they could keep going up the river, and boom, there's one there, and it's...
He'll finally get his picture.
Yeah, stuff like this was actually my favorite part of the movie when I first saw it, and still is even now seeing it, because I love how kind of seeing the...
Jesus.
Yeah, the aftermath. It's almost showing you, like, if you don't have the budget to show all of this happening, it's almost like you kind of show, like, the toll of it by showing kind of the aftermath. Because you can kind of clearly see what once was, like, more of a thriving metropolis, and now, essentially, it's a ruin. Like, these things just being here just took, something that was much closer to being first world.
Yeah.
If not first world, it just knocked it way back.
I feel like I'd be way more upset about this situation than she was.
I know.
Probably wonders, though, in a weird way, I wonder if she's probably not looking forward to going back to her life, but at the same, and I get where they're coming from. They're like, it's a life of, everyone has expectations of her. She comes from privilege, so they want her to marry the right person, live the right life. Now we want her to turn. And I get that, but here's the thing. If I was there...
I would want to not be there.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, I get it. I got to marry some guy. And that's fine. I can deal with that. That's something that can be handled with a conversation, at worst, an argument. This here is a little bit different. Smugglers, third world country, giant monsters,
I don't like running.
Yeah.
Either.
I don't like running. I'm a white girl in a scary movie. We're not good at running. They get killed by guys with machetes who walk.
Is that the squids? Do they sound like whales?
Yeah, that's kind of their sound.
Wouldn't these guys know what that is then?
Well, they know what that is.
Oh.
That's why they have guns.
So why aren't they like at the fucking the boat? How is a gun gonna help against a fucking
Well, I mean,
giant ass squid?
better than nothing. And again, I also think it's playing too that these things weren't always this big. So there was probably a time where they were kind of manageable with, like, small arms fire, and now they're having to use, like, planes and tanks to kind of fight them. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still, rather have a gun than, like, MMA them.
Whale calls.
I do like, though, how usually movies like this, when there's like a big creature, you always see them, they're just there. And I like how, usually when you have big animals in an environment, they kind of made their own. They're not always just out there. Like, I know people say, in Africa, there's certain areas where you have to watch out for elephants because you just don't even know they're there. Because they just blend in with the environment. And a lot of times you have to listen for them, like how she would do it. Like, sometimes you won't even realize, and you'll just stumble upon them.
Bummer. So what happens when you're a crappy person. People don't want you around.
It's that tramp stamp, man.
I was just gonna say.
She's like, listen,
You know, maybe if you didn't have that tramp stamp, but.
Why is that a weird thing? To like all animals, like.
Wow. It's everything in her life. Yeah, that marriage is not going to happen. Everything in her life she blames on him.
I know.
How many pets? Oh, he's allergic because he's a douchebag.
You could have a lizard
I fucking
unless he's
hate him.
allergic to scales.
Wish you would fucking die.
You have a bird.
You know, we feel bad for her, like, which this poor bastard is probably at home, is probably the sweetest guy in the world. He's on the phone right now, worrying, calling, you know, the officials down there, trying to get information on her. Like, he's probably literally doing everything, and she's like,
No,
yeah.
he's probably cheating on her.
Jeez. Well, I try to give him the benefit of a doubt.
Look, she's into this guy, so her taste in men is obviously
She likes the bad boy thing.
pretty bad. This guy isn't a bad boy. He's a...
What would be the official term here? What are we working with?
For this guy?
Yeah.
Scum.
Wow. Okay. Damn.
He's kind of a scumbag. A little bit, like.
He's a fuck boy.
Let me just
He
reiterate.
is a
We're talking
fuckboy.
about the character, not the actor playing him.
Yeah. Scoot McNairy with a name like that.
Scoot McNair.
I mean, if anything, because he is a scumbag, it means the actor's doing a fantastic job of portraying him. He's probably like the most nice guy you'll ever meet.
Yes, let's shine lights where it will be attracted to it, probably.
Is it coming?
Which is kind of crazy to think that how big those things are, and if you see that, you realize how big of a thing is just right over there.
I know. Wouldn't it be underneath, just kind of doing this with its tentacle, if that's what it is? Oh, yeah. Oh, nice.
Guys need a ride? Your Uber's here.
It was
Tom Cruise opens up the hatch.
Yeah, just Luke
Jesus
Skywalker
Christ.
standing at the edge.
right.
Raising it up.
Just raising it with the force.
Oh no.
There's something there.
Yep.
Is it a transformer?
Yes.
Is it Bumblebee?
So that's Starscream right there.
It's just playing. It's like a little kid one playing with a little toy.
Whoa. You know, it's just weird to think how big they are, and it's just right there. That's my point.
That
It's
must
like,
be some pretty deep water. I mean, I guess it wouldn't have to be, but
We're getting out of here.
I mean, that's the thing too. Like I said, big animals. Like a lot of times, it's not always super obvious that they're right there. You know, like literally, they just kind of stumbled. They didn't even realize that thing was there. And that's just one that made itself kind of visible. Like for all you know, there could be others. It's like hippos.
the entire bottom of the fucking river.
What's what happens too when they say people too like don't go swimming in Africa? It's, you know, it's like between the crocodiles and the hippos, like the entire river is literally just filled with
That is a
big
nice
things
shot.
that will kill you. I know, that's a beautiful shot. I love the strings, how it kind of makes that weird, kind of like eerie. I really love Gareth Edwards' cinematography. I mean, he makes good-looking films. I know his style of filmmaking isn't for everyone. He makes slower-paced movies, but his movies look fantastic. Which, again, I like slower films, too. Like, not everything for me needs to be, like, you know, going 100 miles an hour. I like movies like that, too, but I like a little diversity in my film collection, depending on what I'm in the mood for. So I'm kind of glad that he's going back to smaller films, because
I wonder what he'll do.
I don't know. I know there was like a science fiction like space opera project he had talked about doing a while back. This is pre-Godzilla. I don't know if that's something he's going to go back to, but again, he's got enough clout now between Godzilla and Star Wars where I think, you know, he can pretty much do whatever he wants, especially if he wants to do something less ambitious. It's going to be less of a a risk on the part of a studio, so they're more apt to say yes to something that's going to... Yeah, so those bloody handprints, he made those on the side of his tub in his bathroom, and he lifted them off the tub, on his computer and put them in that shot.
That makes sense.
Those were his hand. He just he had food colored and paint. He said he just made it look like hand. So it's just kind of funny. He talked about a lot of these shots he just basically made in his bathroom. But it looked good. I mean, there you go. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I think they also...
This entire movie was shot in his bathroom.
I know, right? That's his tub. He just kept copying, pasting the water to extend it out. Throw a little lime juice in there to give it color.
As long as they're not pointing the guns at you.
I was and if you know what's good for you, you'll make sure that they're your friends too.
Oh, the cow's gonna get eaten.
Cal's got a gun too.
Jesus.
Just everyone and everything is just strapped, ready to go.
Oh, nothing ever good happens at night by the fire in these movies.
Just funny seeing this now that there's a wall, and I'm just boy.
I know.
It's funny when sometimes... I mean, I guess I don't want to say life imitates art because there is no wall, but still, it's just the fact that, when I watched this movie, I was building a giant wall on the border. Who would even think of such a thing? Then again, if you're trying to keep out giant monsters, I guess that's not such a bad idea, but... Ooh, 100 meters. That's Godzilla territory.
Oh, you mean what we fucking traveled on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Here.
So, I basically essentially they're big animals. That it's a lot of the problems is that we're essentially again agitating them. They basically made this their territory, but essentially if you just don't mess with them too much, they kind of just do their own thing. But it's almost like the attempts to kind of stop them are essentially what are kind of just making them more aggressive. More basically, you're making the problem worse.
Oh shit.
Mushrooms?
Are they gonna get infected?
Ew.
It's kind of interesting. It's almost like with them, they kind of brought a bit of their own ecology with them. So they're essentially kind of, in a weird way, terraforming the environment, which honestly, I'm thinking too, that's one of the big reasons why they want to contain them, because it's not just them themselves. They're essentially...
So those are eggs?
I guess eggs or spores, kind of like how salmon, they'll go upriver to spawn.
It's definitely spores.
Spores. Dude, literally spores right here. See? Man, that's how it all starts. Spores.
It's always spores.
It always comes back to spores in these movies, man. Like...
I mean, where else could these things come from, if not from spores?
From spores. Spores from space. Space spores.
Space spores, bro.
You say, what's under the bandage?
Piercing tattoo.
It's just like a badly drawn dick tattoo she got when she was out there.
Because she got her first night here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's interesting too how basically the kaiju in this film are essentially they're basically an invasive species.
Well, couldn't they burn the trees with the spores?
I mean, yeah, but then you're just destroying a whole chunk of,
Wow.
That's kind of the problem.
Well, apparently what they're doing is they're bombing the forest.
Okay, I guess it kind of endears his character a bit more, but on the flip side, it's like you're not with her, dude. Like you can technically, it's none of her business if you.
Well, I think he might be apologizing for losing all her stuff.
Oh, yeah, there was that.
It doesn't matter.
And like hitting on her super bad.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun to do. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry for hooking up with some random chick. I'm not like that. Like fuck that. You lost all her shit, asshole. I don't care who you have sex with. Just traipse around through the jungle. Monsters.
Mm-hmm. So when we get back, do you want to get married? Damn, do it yourself then.
I know, right? I was thinking that. I'm like,
What
ew.
the fuck?
Yeah.
It's too tight. Kiss my hand.
That thing is probably filthy also.
Yeah, I know.
Like, even their clothes.
Still too tight, even though she kissed it. He kissed it.
10 minutes later.
Kissing it didn't loosen it.
It's too loose now.
Yeah.
15 minutes later. Yeah, it's tight again.
He cracks her over the back of the head with a rock.
Jesus.
How does it feel now? Is it still too tight?
I feel like they'd be getting eaten alive by bugs right now.
No, they probably are, but it's kind of like occupational hazard.
I don't know.
The fire's probably helping.
Oh God, don't do it. Don't do it. I thought she was going to go near him.
Don't go near him.
Don't come near.
He's infected like the trees.
She just sits on his face.
Whoa, wow.
Oh wow.
Oh my. Golly gee.
Smothers him to death.
Oh boy, that sounds fun.
You thought police scanners sounded scary in your neighborhood.
Did they start the bombing early or something?
Well, I get the sense that it's kind of routine too. Like they're just always. I mean, it's not like they're really in the know with like the U.S. government's doing in terms of like their schedule. I think they just kind of always have to be at the ready to kind of roll out essentially because they even said like when they start
roll out
Autobots.
Padiddle.
I was gonna say it, but I didn't.
Well, it's gonna cost you one article of clothing.
Yikes.
Yeah, because they're saying too, it's like when those things start getting bombed, they get all angry and frustrated. So it's almost like great when when the bombing raids start, it almost makes their job even harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like petting my leg. One gas mask, please.
Aren't they supposed
That'll be
to-
$5,000.
Oh boy, we got some legs.
Uh-oh.
So is it because they breathe? Oh.
It's kind of giving me Death Stranding vibes.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Where's pregnant Norman Reedus?
So is it because they have spores they need the gas mask?
I'm not quite sure, and I think they leave it a little bit ambiguous too, because it's just kind of more or less like, again, we're groups of people who don't really know what's going on, so I think they're just implying that because they're kind of a foreign element that, we don't know what they're bringing with them. Again, it's just funny, like, giant tentacled alien. It's so classic, like, sci-fi, but...
Oh, what? That's weird. Just, like, zipped away.
This right here reminds me of, not to keep bringing this movie up, but it reminds me of that scene in Godzilla where the character, like Brody, was, like, lying on top of the train track where the big female Muto was just kind of over him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this weird moment where you're just kind of there, and this big thing is right there with you.
What's he trying to do?
He broke the light, I think, and blocked it.
Oh, okay.
Even though I kind of like how there's no men left in there with him. You think they would have left one or two at least. Good thing they didn't check our car.
So they kind of remind me almost like big elephants, and they kind of move around, and they're like inspecting, but again, they're so strong that,
So, did anybody else live?
I don't think so. I wonder if their car is still good. Was she asleep?
Apparently,
they
damn.
both just kind of passed out.
Am I alive?
Looks about ready to fight that mosquito. Come at me, bro.
I don't know what he's looking for. Oh shit, did he trip or did he see something weird?
I'm gonna say, yeah, the...
I wonder if it'll still work. I could probably hotwire that.
Yes, yeah, good.
Yeah, pretty sure everyone's dead if they didn't come out by now.
Yes, yeah, good. They hatch.
I think it's dead people.
Yeah.
Take a gas mask.
It's not good. In a minute.
Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. You're a big boy. You're a big boy.
Oh, is this camera?
Oh. Yeah, I was wondering why that guy had it.
Great. Now they're going to think I murdered him.
Hey, he takes a picture of that body. It's worth $50,000, right? That's what he said. Listen, I'm just saying.
Yeah. We know what you're saying.
She's looking underneath the car. Oh, what was that?
I think goggles?
Oh,
Or gas mask, yeah.
One or the other.
I mean, clearly he's not going to need it anymore.
No.
Maybe that's why they wear gas masks. The monsters don't kill you if you're wearing a gas mask. I mean, the guy didn't have it on his face, and he was dead, so I'm just saying I think there's a correlation here. I mean, that's my theory.
What is he doing? Oh, jeez.
Why was there a kid there?
Because remember, they were waiting for like another family to meet up with them. Yeah, more people getting across the border. Again, it is. Again, the message where essentially, if we left these things alone, they wouldn't bother us. But that's the thing, by agitating them, they're only really hurting the people who are on this side of the border. So essentially, the people who are hurting the monsters aren't kind of reaping the consequences of it. It's these people. But it's just kind of out of sight, out of mind kind of mentality, where it's like the monsters are just things over there for us to shoot at. We don't really take into account that there's innocent people kind of at ground zero with them.
Sadness.
Never mind. He's got a gas mask on. I guess my theory shot.
Gross.
But here's my thing. At that point, if you could be infected,
I know. I feel like you would be already.
I think you would be. It's almost like, well, let's be real.
Hey, I guess he's a better person now, guys, because he's not taking the pictures.
Well, to be fair, it's not like they're gonna like.
Alternatively, this is gonna sound really bad, but I'm like, I get the notion of putting a jacket on her, but realistically, you might need that.
I mean,
How much were the pictures worth?
50,000 a picture.
Per picture?
That's what he said.
but then again, there's no one there on the ground taking photos like that. So I guess it's like a side of the conflict that the average person doesn't get to see. But on the flip side too, on one hand, it's okay. It's important to take a picture of the dead girl. But if you're trying to kind of send a message of like
sure.
the kind of the human toll, the casualties of what's going on, I hate to say it, but
I'd be taking the pictures.
Huh?
I'd be taking the pictures.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you try to say, well, innocent people are dying, okay, it's like if you're all we see on on our news is just far away night vision shots of lights flashing towards these big things. People are gonna be like, nah, whatever. But if you have a picture of a dead kid on the cover of Time magazine or whatever, it's
How
like,
did they know which
okay.
way to go, by the way?
I'm just following the trail.
Yeah.
Well, fucking pee, girl. Like,
And like that's
Christ.
basically what he just said with his body language. Too.
Yeah.
Like if you could like dub the body language, that was perfect. Well, fucking Pete, go girl.
Jesus Christ! Like, what
Like, are you asking me
just
if you
drop
can?
your pants. Like,
are you gonna watch?
I see something while peeing.
I don't know how to interpret that look on her face.
I know.
Ooh.
I pooped. No.
Which is
Sorry.
funny too, because it kind of gives you a sense of how kind of taken over this area is. Because that's obviously I'm pretty sure that's one of the big tourist spots too. Yeah, this is a tourist spot. This is like the actual real pyramid where you can go and visit. So the fact that we're at what was once basically like one of Mexico's biggest tourist attractions, and the fact that it's this like no man's land now kind of shows you like
Oh, there's the walls.
yeah.
Oh God, what if this movie gave Trump the idea?
I was gonna say Trump watched me and got the biggest fucking heart on. I remember, I'm pretty sure I read something to this effect, but I know Gareth ever said kind of there's a bit of like symbolism here. Them sitting atop kind of this ancient structure looking at like a modern day, like, once upon a time pyramids like this would have been some of the most impressive, architectural feats by mankind, and now we're sitting on something, looking at something that's grander and even more impressive in the modern world.
Yeah.
And it's kind of showing you like kind of the division, like Mexico is slowly being reduced to just a relic basically, because the modern world is turning its back on it basically.
they just gonna like spend the night there?
No. No.
That's the appropriate response.
Yikes.
But now begs the question:
Are
Is
you
she
really
is she
laughing?
really laughing, or is she full of shit right now?
Yeah.
Now I'm questioning her whole character. God damn! Like now
It's like, what is wrong with you?
did this whole scene just become incredibly insincere?
I know.
It's very awkward.
You know when you practice laughing, to
No.
fake it? You're so funny.
You're hilarious.
My whole life is a lie.
Like right now, people listening to this are going to think, do they really think that's funny? Or were they practicing this before they hit record?
Ha, ha. That's my fake laugh. How was it, guys?
That'll be pretty sad. That was actually your real laugh. And that right there, that's the fake one.
Yes.
Look, your real laugh is just tragically bad.
That was the first time you heard her real laugh.
The-
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. It's
Yum.
horrible.
Breakfast.
Oh, just waiting to sprain an ankle right there.
Yeah.
Welcome to the first world. Road.
So it's just a random ass break in the wall.
I was wondering that when I watched this too. I'm just kind of like,
I feel like there'd be a big old gate they'd have to go through or something.
Well, I think it's kind of more or less.
Okay.
Again, I think this whole area right here where they have to go through is more or less kind of patrolled. So the little area right beyond this opening is essentially people aren't living there.
Oh.
Essentially, where there's a break in the wall, there's a active military presence. So it kind of serves as like
Is this a flood zone too, apparently? Why are they all on a...
Well, yeah, this is by the Gulf of Mexico. So
So they literally were just walked in, it's fine?
again, this whole place is like a quarantine zone. Like no one lives here.
Hello?
Oh, I can take a guess.
What happened here? Oh no. I don't know.
There's a destroyed area right beyond the zone where there's giant monsters. I haven't the faintest idea.
Just gotta say, he must, camera gets really good battery life.
I mean, I would hope he brought like a spare. Unless he's been really selective.
Just keep going.
Yeah, at this point, I don't really think it matters. Like,
They're just collecting...
well, I'm just kind of like, okay, you could only be infected starting now. Quick, put your mask on. It's like, if something was going to infect you, you would have been like,
Remember when you were poking the infected trees?
Do you remember when you were literally walking around the quote-unquote infected zone?
Oh jeez.
Yep.
Calamari. Let's eat.
God, That would smell so bad.
Yeah, it would.
Honestly, I'm thinking that's what the gas masks are for, is the smell. Because they even talked about the smell earlier. I think that's what they were saying, is that basically these things reek so bad.
It's the smell.
I mean, especially if it's a dead thing. I mean, you know, things that are rotting stink. Now this thing is like 100 meters long. It's like, holy crap, that they would...
She about to fall asleep or something?
She's got real bored real fast.
Is there going to be a baby one there, I wonder?
Oh, yeah, no. This scene was weird. What's up coming up?
This little kid on a tricycle, red bra, red bra.
You see just two twin girls, and they're like, oh, shit. Well, this just got a whole lot worse.
I don't really know what to expect here.
Just a homeless person? Okay.
Well, I mean, think about it. It's like probably just
makes
looting the
sense.
area and no one's here anymore.
Okay. That's where you talk more.
Wait for it.
Just morph into one of those things. That'd be sweet. Just
Tentacles go everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
oh.
Is she not looking their way? I can't tell.
No, she's looking at him.
Mark.
Good talking to you.
Well, okay.
that was weird.
Maybe she was offended by his tramp stamp.
Quack, 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 quack.
Maybe that's a giant squid speak.
Maybe.
Maybe.
So
She's
get
just...
off my lawn.
I've never had a person speak to me like that before. I don't know what to do.
That was like Morse code. She was just doing with like her voice to just divulge something incredibly important about the plot. But
Kinda, right?
to us, we're just like, oh, I guess she's crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What?
Now we're coming up to the part of the movie where you can tell he spent about 98% of his budget.
What, a gas station?
Well, it's what's going to happen here at the gas station.
It's gonna blow up.
Well, that's just mean.
Don't they still get in trouble for going across the border?
Well, I think it's more or less that because they're American citizens, they can.
No, they don't know that for sure.
Well,
Of
yeah,
course
well, they have
don't.
they can look them up. And
I guess
Just Google me.
I'm somebody. That's the thing. It's only illegal if you're not supposed to be in America, but because they couldn't get back over, it's like, okay, well. Wow, thanks. In other words, give up on my dreams. Gotcha. You go ahead and keep the camera then. It's like she literally just said you should give your son a camera and you look good kind of register. That's like, I'm sorry. Subtext was all there, folks.
I don't know.
Here's my question: if that place has been evacuated, why would it still have power and electricity and everything?
I think it's only been. It's probably recent.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
It looks like these things have essentially. I think that's implying to why the bombings have been getting worse because they started crossing over into U.S. territory, so they became more aggressive in their efforts to suppress them.
Why did he go to the payphone when he was just using the phone inside?
Happy birthday.
So she could use it.
Listen.
Because he's a gentleman.
With a tramp stamp.
Listen.
Wait, so did he just call his son?
Yeah.
I thought he.
Well, I think he's allowed to know him, but he's just not allowed to be in his life as his father. I'm sure that's whoever the woman's married
So he's just some guy.
Or.
That calls frequently and buys him presents on his birthday.
Well, I think the son is allowed to know that he's his biological father, but I think she basically meant yeah, but you're not his dad. It says you're not going to raise him. He's not going to live with you. He's not going to spend time with you. You're just you can come see him and basically spend time with him with us around. But
I feel like this is the reaction he should have had the first time.
What do you mean?
When he was stuck in Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
Potentially, he was just. I mean, I know that was the night he was being a super creep, but
yeah, you're stuck in a third world country with a bunch of giant monsters.
Yeah. Now when you're back, the military's on your way, so you're gonna be safe. Is when you cry.
But I think it's more or less him just again, it's a good it's more or less the emotional trauma for him.
His experience has given him a greater appreciation for the things he's been missing out on in his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hell's your problem?
Isn't it obvious?
It's because I don't have a tramp stamp on my back. That's why I don't understand him.
I don't either.
But we get him.
I got it removed.
You look on your back and all of a sudden it's just there still.
No! Movie ends.
God damn it.
That was the true monster. She sounds so sincere.
Well, she's talking to her fiance, who she really doesn't want to see. So I think it's. I love this bit coming up here because the way it's shot, it's really beautiful coming up, but it's also creepy because again, like the things in the water, they're so big, but it just goes to show you that how easily big things that are adapted to their environment can hide in plain sight, especially from us. Sure.
Okay.
Oh, he's being weird again. All right. Well, I guess I'll lock the door.
Is that on top of the building or just behind it?
Behind it. It's that big.
How would you not hear it though? That's my
Well, because I guess it was rolling thunder and.
Yeah.
And they move.
I feel like you would at least feel vibrations on the ground.
I mean.
Oh no.
I think it's also implying the way they move too. They're not stomping.
Well, you could see them. They were zipping around into nothing.
Yeah, they're I think they're built very well. They have said too octopi. They've talked about if they could come on land, the way they're built. They don't have a skeleton. They have
That's gonna be the tentacles.
They have a structure built inside that can support them, but they're actually light for their size. Hence why they can get so big. They're not built as heavy as you would think.
Oh boy.
We all know where this is going.
Where's the dude at?
He was outside, fucking passed out near the gas, apparently. I'm just kind of how would he not...
Well, he is.
I feel like the thunder would have woke you up, if anything. It's cool they light up.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Again, I like how essentially they're, unless they're really attacked, they're more or less just curious. It seems like all the stuff that we kind of... I can't remember. I think they're feeding off electricity too.
I was gonna say, unless they can detect her body heat or something.
I think she made a sound. She Those are some weird ass tentacles. Tentacles. Tentacles.
Tentakai.
Tentakai.
Full throttle. Oh, there's a
Was it
product
touching the
placement.
TV? Oh yeah, look at that. It's like absorbing something maybe.
Which kind of that's the thing. They're essentially, the more developed than you are as a nation or like a culture or civilization, the more they're going to be drawn to you, because essentially all our technology puts off energy and heat and light.
Well, at the end of the tentacle, it's like green. Oh really? Don't do that.
Why would you do that?
I don't know, I guess it worked.
Yeah, but think about it. I mean,
There's plenty of other light and energy in there, though.
well, again, I think it's just exploring the area. Just imagine putting one of those in Los Angeles or San Diego, where they wouldn't be too far from it. It's like something like that would just be drawn to it like a moth to a flame.
Yeah.
Does he have his camera?
I know, right?
Yeah, there's your. Again, I like the way this is all shot.
No.
Oh, they're mating. Or are they fighting?
Or
Or are they play fighting? I don't know.
So many questions. Yeah, but I like how here you're finally seeing them in a moment where they're not essentially being attacked. Therefore, it's like every time you see them being aggressive is essentially when they're being instigated. So on their own, they're kind of just, just big animals, basically. I like how those guys in the jungle were even saying that, on their own, they're basically just big. They're only dangerous because they're so big.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, they're really no different than any other kind of animal. But it's kind of us that are essentially making the problem more of a problem, or agitating the situation. Yeah, that's what I was saying. This is where the budget went right here. But I like to. He's being smart about it. They're digital effects, but he's not putting them in hard light.
Oh yeah, and the sky's black and
Exactly.
all in darkness except for where they light up. So
You can kind of hide the effect a little bit better, and just using kind of their natural bioluminescence to kind of just accent them enough where you can clearly see how they look, but they're not under a hard light. It's a very pretty shot.
I know. They said the military's on the way.
I know, that'd be that'd be kind of a tragic end too, and then you just see them light them up.
Oh wait,
That's what I'm
what's
totally
that?
expecting to happen.
Is that just like stoplights in the distance or something?
I think it's like train track lights or something like that. So basically, the moral of the story is leave them alone; they leave you alone.
Okay.
Which is kind of fitting when you really think about it.
Well, it's that way with most animals, but also animals cause harm.
Yeah, well, again, I think that's kind of the problem, that they're large, and that's kind of like, all right, they're in a.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing with a bear. Like yeah, if you stay away from the bear, you're fine. Or stay away from the bear's cubs, you're fine.
Don't feed the bear.
But what about when the bear's in your house?
Well, that's the problem. It's like bears require something like a bear.
It's not safe.
Well, yeah.
Well,
that's the thing. It's like you have animals like that who, on their own, they're looking to just be left alone, but they require such a large territory, and because human beings are for always expanding outward, eventually, lines are going to cross with each other. So it's kind of like an unfortunate reality. The bear isn't looking for you, but you guys are eventually going to end up inhabiting the same space, and
this is it.
You really can't, coexist, unfortunately. I mean, these things, look how much room they need.
He's like, yeah, I know.
What did she say?
I don't want to go home.
Oh.
But in retrospect, it's a lot better than where we just came from, isn't it?
Are
I'm
you
like,
seriously
I'm
gonna
sorry.
miss him
I'm
after how creepy he's been?
I'm having trouble
No. Oh, come on.
sympathizing.
Girl. Oh, look at his nose being squished. That's
Jeez.
that's unfortunate.
It happens. She has a really tiny nose, that's why. She has a nice nose.
They throw a net over them, drag them in the back. Oh, just about.
Yeah, and when you get home, well, you're gonna get your wish.
But
you're infected.
Again, but why? But why?
Written direct by Gareth Edwards.
Okay.
Again, it's a good little character drama, but yeah, no, but well, he got Godzilla.
End. It's a weird end.
It is a weird end.
Well, again, that last scene cost him all his money, so yeah, the movie's over after that point. He's like, we got no more money, guys. We got no more money. We just blew it all right there at that shot.
All right, we gotta end it.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of ending it, that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Peace. Goodbye.